In the heart of ancient Rome stands one of the most famous structures ever built, the Colosseum. Today, millions of tourists walk through its ruins. But nearly 2,000 years ago, this place echoed with screams, roaring crowds, and the sound of swords crashing together. This was not just a stadium. It was the beating heart of the Roman Empire's entertainment machine. And the story of the Colosseum is darker than most people realize. The Colosseum was built around 72 AD by Emperor Vespasian, the founder of the Flavian dynasty. At that time, Rome had just survived years of civil war. The empire needed stability, power, and something to unite the people. So Vespasian made a bold decision. He ordered the construction of the largest arena the world had ever seen. But here's the shocking part. The land where the Colosseum was built once belonged to Emperor Nero, a ruler hated by many Romans. Nero had built a massive, luxurious palace there for himself after the Great Fire of Rome. When Vespasian came to power, he wanted to give that land back to the people. So instead of a palace, he built an arena for public entertainment, a symbol of Roman power, a gift to the citizens, and a warning to Rome's enemies. Construction took nearly 8 years and was completed in 80 AD by Vespasian's son, Emperor Titus. When the Colosseum finally opened, Rome celebrated for 100 straight days. Imagine that. 100 days of non-stop games, fights, executions, animal hunts, and entertainment. Historians believe thousands of animals were killed during those opening celebrations alone. Lions from Africa, tigers from Asia, bears, elephants, crocodiles, brought from across the empire just to entertain the crowd. The Roman people had never seen anything like it. The Colosseum could hold around 50,000 spectators. Rich senators sat close to the arena floor. Ordinary citizens sat higher up. Women and poor people were placed near the top. Even in entertainment, Rome had social classes. But the true stars of the Colosseum were the gladiators. Most gladiators were slaves, prisoners of war, or criminals. Some came from conquered lands like Thrace, Gaul, Germania, and North Africa. But surprisingly, some men volunteered to become gladiators. Why? Because successful gladiators became celebrities. They earned fame, money, and sometimes freedom. The crowd adored them. Children copied them. Women admired them. In many ways, they were the sports superstars of ancient Rome. One of the most famous gladiators in Roman history was Spartacus. Before becoming a legend, Spartacus fought as a gladiator after being enslaved by the Romans. But he refused to accept that life. In 73 BC, he escaped with dozens of other gladiators and started a massive rebellion against Rome itself. For nearly 2 years, Spartacus defeated Roman armies again and again. He became a symbol of resistance and freedom. Although Spartacus lived before the Colosseum was officially built, his story helped make gladiators legendary across Roman culture. Another famous gladiator was Flamma, a Syrian fighter who reportedly won dozens of matches. He became so respected that Rome offered him freedom 4 different times, and each time he refused. He chose to remain a gladiator because the arena had become his entire identity. That's how powerful the fame of the Colosseum was. But life inside the arena was brutal. Before every battle, gladiators waited underground in dark tunnels beneath the Colosseum. Above them, tens of thousands of people screamed for blood. Some fighters survived for years. Others died within minutes. And contrary to movies, not every fight ended in death. Gladiators were expensive to train. If a skilled fighter performed well, he might be allowed to live and fight another day. Still, death was always close. The Colosseum wasn't only used for gladiator battles. Romans also held public executions there. Criminals were sometimes thrown to wild animals in front of cheering crowds. And during special events, the arena could even be flooded with water for mock naval battles. Yes, Romans actually turned the Colosseum into a giant artificial lake. Over the centuries, many emperors used the Colosseum to gain popularity with the people. Emperors like Domitian expanded the structure and added underground chambers. Others hosted massive games to distract citizens from political problems. The idea was simple: keep the people entertained, and they won't rebel. This strategy became famous as bread and circuses. Free food, free entertainment, and total control. The Colosseum remained active for roughly 400 years. But as the Roman Empire weakened, the game slowly disappeared. By the 5th century, gladiator battles were mostly gone. Rome itself was collapsing. Earthquakes damaged the Colosseum over time. Parts of its stone were stolen and reused to build churches and buildings across Rome. The mighty arena that once shook with roaring crowds became silent ruins. Yet somehow, it survived. Today, the Colosseum still stands as one of the greatest symbols of ancient civilization. A masterpiece of engineering. A monument to Roman ambition. And a reminder of how entertainment, power, violence, and politics were deeply connected in the ancient world. Because behind the beauty of Rome, there was also blood. And beneath the glory of the empire, there were thousands of forgotten fighters whose names history never remembered. The Colosseum was more than a stadium. It was the soul of ancient Rome, and every stone in that arena still carries the echo of its past.